Yeah, as the Dafim go tonight is not so difficult. That's what I'm saying now. But yeah, Mem Vav Amid Aleph. Chutz min Adam. Except for the blood. All right, so what did we say? We said Chutz min Adam, that's talking about Varim. Anything, the Mishnah says, anything that you're not chayiv pigel, you're chayiv mishum noiser and because of tameh, but not dam. Dam, you're not over if it's noiser, and you're not over if it's if you somebody's tummy and they drink the dam. Akiva had asked, I think 2 days ago, like what dam is usher anyways, right? So what's the difference? Who cares that dam, right? So the Rashi here, Rashi says, it's just about whether you're going to be chayiv twice.
What ain't a chalol so what about that?
What do you say?
What about ain't a chalol?
No, but I don't think it means. I don't think it's another isser. I think it's just you're gonna just be chayiv too.
I think what he's asking again, this is just asking it. I'll ask it again. Is that the Mishnah seems to be that Menon immediately is asking, where do we know this? The question is, why do you need to know that if ain't is that would be the question. And if the Gemara is looking for a reason, what's the Mishnah be mechadish? If there's no, if it can't be chal anyways, why would you be mechayiv twice anyways? Why do you need a chiddush of the Torah to tell you, no, it's not chayiv al nicer. There's already an isser dam. How could it be chal again?
Well, I don't know. When do we understand? When anytime you have the Gemaras that you chayiv two, if you do this, it's two lav and you chayiv twice.
That's what the Torah is mechadish to isurim.
That's
What do you mean?
very rare.
What?
Motzi Shamra is a maybe, but the Kedeva Shas you only get one. There's only in most cases you only be one.
Diago, the isser nicer would only come on after a certain amount of time, correct?
Yeah, whenever you
What do you
pass
mean?
the
In the morning, no?
prescribed time.
Right. So my
Pass the
point is that
prescribed
there's already an
time.
isser there. It's not that there's no inyan of nicer. It's just that it needs to be left over to be chal nicer. The problem is there's
Right.
already an isser there. So how could it be chal on it, the isser of nicer? That's the question.
I'm saying so. You see the Rashi Minan immediately says the dam ein chayon olam mishum noiser im shogeg boy bedam v'noiser ein nechayev shtayim ela achas. I'm saying, don't we say ein isser chalas? It means it's already usher for one thing. You're saying you're saying that you have that. No, the lachar is saying I don't want to get into a whole lumdus over here. It's Daf Yomi.
It's not lumdus. You can't if there's already an isser chal on the dam before it turns into nicer.
Right,
how
but
would nicer be chal when there's already an isser?
Right, but when does the isser dam? When does isser chal on the dam? When it's inside the
always.
animal, or only once it comes out? So because if once it
considered
comes out,
dam,
it's the same.
It's always chal on it, no matter where it is. Even if it's chal after it comes out, it's still chal before nicer.
No, but I mean, because nicer. You're saying nicer is going to come later either way.
I'm also just saying. It's all these cases. It's chal at different times. That's what I'm saying.
Right. No, I was thinking maybe Tomei. But that's not Tomer. That's if the person is Tomer. Okay, whatever it is, but that's what it's Negeya. That, I mean, it answers your question, but it brings up another question. But the bottom line is that's what it's all about. Anyway, so second line down. So it says except for Dam. Right? Minani Mili. So how do we know? Right. So how do you know that the Dam does not have Noiser and the Isra of Tummy? So Amagula Amakros. We got again, of course, a lot of drushes. Vani Nasativ Lochem says, I have given to you. Shalachem Yehei, that it should be yours. Right? So it means Lochem means that there's no Isra of Mila. Tveri Bishmal Tana Amakra Lechaper. It says Lechaper. Lechapara Nasati V'loy Meila. Gave it to you for kapara and not for Meila. V'Yochanan Amar Kra who lifnei kapara kal achar kapara. It's lifnei kapara is like la'achar kapara. Ma achar kapara ain't ba meila. Just like achar kapara is no meila. After lifnei kapara ain't ba meila. So too before kapara there is no meila. Right. So we have three limudim. It's going to come up with a kasha on the bottom of the amud. Another kasha they don't understand, but we have three sources here for why blood you're not over. Fine. So the Gemara says Ema. So another interesting kasha. Again, he says who lifnei kapara kalara, meaning before before kapara, meaning before the blood is sprinkled on the mizbeach, is like after. I just went back 2 lines. Ma achar kapara, just like after the kapara, there's no meila. After the kapara, there's no meila. Right. So there's no meila on the blood. So Gemara says, why don't you compare it the opposite? Ema la'achar kapara lifnei kapara. Why don't you say after the kapara is like before the kapara? Ma lifnei kapara yesh ba meila. Just like before the kapara there is meila. Af la'achar kapara yesh ba meila. So to after the kapara there is meila, right? So Gemara says, Ein lecha davar shenasas mitzvasai ma'alim. There's no such thing as something that's nasa mitzvasai. And there's meila, meaning once your mitzvah is done, it no longer has any kedusha. Sort of like people are still asking what to do with their lulav, what to do with their esrig, right? Once the mitzvah is done, ba'atzim, there's no chashivas to it whatsoever, right? So Gemara says v'loy v'arei chumas hadeshen. You have the chumas hadeshen, right? Every day, right there in the morning, the kohen would go up to the Beis Hamikdash, to the mizbeach, and he would take out a shovel of ashes that were there from the whole night, and he would put it on the floor in the chutzah, and it would sit there until it disintegrated into I don't know if disintegrated or it sunk into the ground. I don't know exactly what went on over there. Right? Meaning you couldn't take it from there. So if you're not allowed to move it from there, so then that means that it still has chashivas, even though what do you call it? Even though the mitzvah is already done. So you see, there is something that could have meila, even if the mitzvah is done.
Well, what's the mitzvah?
What the mitzvah is taking the ashes off the mizbeach and putting it onto the ground. Why is
So
that a mitzvah?
So that's it. So it's not over.
What?
So it's not over. That's the mitzvah.
No, but now we put it on the ground. You mean, what are you saying? That the mitzvah
until it gets swallowed up, it's still in the valve with the mitzvah. No.
I think the action of the mitzvah is done. I'm saying if the ground never swallows it up, is the mitzvah done?
I would say it's not, but I have no idea.
I don't know. I would say I don't know enough about it. When we get to Zevachim, we'll learn about it, but that doesn't seem to be helping me learn it because we're in Zevachim for 45 lot. Yeah, so I think that's when the action's done, but I don't know. Anyway, but okay, so you see that there is something.
It's not what you're talking about. When you bring up, somebody brings a carbon, let's say shlomim,
Right.
so you have to eat it, right? You have a chiyuv to eat it. If you eat a shear and you don't eat the whole thing, you eat the mitzvah, or you still, or now it's potential nicer, so you should finish eating the whole thing.
What do you mean it's potential nicer?
If you leave it for another hour, it's become nicer. But you're full. You're ready. You're ready for. You can't eat anymore.
I don't know. I hear. So what would you do with that?
I don't know. I just thought. Why I thought of it now, I don't know. Parents loaded you up with sourdough bread, and now you can't eat the rest of the carbon.
Real men finish their steak.
Okay, so I'm not a real man. It's okay. I'm not embarrassed.
Yeah.
Shlomim and Kahanim also eat from the Shlomim. So
Okay, good.
Kahanim could also make it into Noser.
Okay, so they both didn't finish. He's old, and his friend and his brother-in-law, the Kohen, is also old. They can't finish the meat.
But they're only over at the essay. They're over the love. There's the essay of the Ace Stars. So what can you do? I mean, it's not. The problem is the problem we have is eating those, sir, not making it. No, sir. It's probably
Depends.
most
It's a machlekes of Yochanan or Reish Lakish. That's a machlekes, right? It's labinitic ba'aseh. It's a whole shiloh that has of malchus.
Okay.
It wouldn't just be a problem of eating it. According, I forget who holds what, but there's a machlekes of Yochanan or Reish Lakish that that we've learned this previously.
Just
but
the
end over there, it's a lot of essay, and the essay is masakin. So
that's again, there's a machlekes whether there is, if you were to do it, whether that you get malchus or not. There's also it's hasra suffix. It was a whole figure we did.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay, but that's either way. But the Gemara is asking Lamaisa. There is Meila on Trumas Adesha. So we answer the Havi Trumas Adesha of Big Day Kahuna Shnei Ksuv and Abayin Keachad V'Chol Shnei Ksuv and Abayin Keachad Ein Melamdim, because you have Trumas Adesha and a Big Day Kahuna, because Big Day Kahuna, the four begadim of the standard Kayin begadim. I'm sorry, not the standard. The
Kohen had you. No?
the Kayin. No, I'm saying the begadim for Yom Kippur, for the Kayin Gadol on Yom Kippur, right? The four. Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah, so Rashi's the begadim that go lefnai v'lefnim on Yom Kippur, they can't be used. Why not? It's Yom Kippur's over. Why not use it? Put it up on Gnizim or whatever for. I mean, if the Kohen made it out of there, then I think it would be. If he didn't make it out of there,
Bias Rishon. We're talking about Bias Rishon.
Bias Rishon. There you go. Right. So there, that's also kedusha to it. So Mishum David Trumas Adeshan Bigta Kahuna Shnei Ksuv and Abayin Ke'echad. V'chol Shnei Ksuv and Abayin Ke'echad Ein Melamden. And the two psukim that come like one, we don't learn anything out from it. So therefore, it's exclusive to Trumas Adeshan and to Big Day Kahuna. Those retain kedusha even after the mitzvah is done. Everything else does not. So Gemara says, "Hanichel Rabbana, Hanichel Rabbana, the Amri v'nichem sham melamish etunim geniza." That he said, leave them there, and that teaches you that you need geniza. Elul Rabbi Daisa, the Amar according to Rabbi Daisa, who says, "Muteres ein lekayin hedjit, they're mutter to a kayin hedjit, ubavad shalei yishtamash ben Yom Kippurim acher, as long as he can't use it for another Yom Kippur. Ma'ikul meima, what are you going to say? Right? Because he holds that they are mutter. So Mamela what? So then there's only one pasuk. There's only one pasuk that allows benefit. It doesn't allow benefit after it's used, and that's Shumas Adeshin, and you should learn out from it. We should have said this before.
Is the Kohen allowed to use it for the rest of the year also, or is the Gemara saying only Kohen is allowed to use it for the rest of the year?
You're talking about according to Reb Daisa, or I mean,
is the issue mitzvah the Kohen Gadol or mitzvah the fact that it was used for?
Yeah, it seems like only the Kohen Gadol can't use it. Somebody else can.
No, but it seems like it. Well, why would it matter who can't use it? Well, it seems like
no
it's the day
idea.
that create. No, I'm saying it seems like it's the day that creates the problem.
I don't know.
I guess because yeah.
I hear what you're saying. It's interesting. Then it seems like maybe it's only okay, whatever it is.
So wouldn't there be a problem with Ma'alim and Kodesh? Why wouldn't there be a problem with Ma'alim and Kodesh for any reason?
I mean, it's the same begadim, right?
No, I'm saying, but to be using it for a lesser avodah, wouldn't that be Ma'alim and Kodesh for any reason? An issue of Ma'alim and Kodesh?
I hear. I mean, stam we have a machlokes about a kahanim if you say malin. No, that's when you
That's
downgrade
for
the
a Kohen. How
kohen.
does it go down? I'm saying it's
Right,
how the begadim also.
right. I hear that.
What are you saying? Kiva, what are you saying, Malam Kodesh?
Meaning, if it was, he's saying it belonged to the kohen gadol and the kodesh kedashim, the holiest day of the year, and now according to Reb Daisa, you're allowed to use them. The kohen hedgit's allowed to use them. Like, why does that work?
Because who says it's Marine? Who said it's Marine? What's it's not Malam Kodesh? It's the Kohen Gadol who, instead of wearing 8 begadim, he's wearing 4 because the various Claudius rolled in. So who says it's I can make a
They're
case.
special. They're
I
clearly
could-
special begadim. They
I
can't be
can make a
used.
case.
They're clearly special begadim. That's why it's
That
designated for that day.
special begadim that are bad, not good.
Why are they bad? They're used for the
Because it's a Kohen Gadol. He's doing work in the 4 begadim. He worked 45 years to become the Kohen Gadol to 8 begadim. Now in the holiest day of the year, he has to come in with his dungarees. Yeah. It's not a genai when his brother uses it the next day on a regular day. I make a case, Akiva. I don't want to belabor the issue, but you can make a case for that.
I mean, the Avodah of Yom Kippur is the holiest day. I would say it has
good.
higher kedusha
Okay,
for
good.
that.
It's the holiest day.
The Avodah. What do you mean?
No, okay, I could.
I don't hear that. I mean,
Okay.
You could also say that different people or different.
that's even more. This is another reason that it's used by somebody that's even holier. I don't know.
Right, I hear.
I'm just having
Okay.
trouble getting over the fact that Baron and Akiva are on a different side of the aisle here today.
Listen, we Gershon's not here, so somebody's got to step in.
And we're not even getting your salary this week.
Right.
What do you call it? No, so the reason we should have pointed out this before, but the reason why Shnei Ksu and Avoyin Ke'echad ain't melamdin is because if you want to just learn it out from one mitzvah, so say it by one mitzvah, and then you learn out to everything. Why do you have to say it by 2 mitzvahs? Elamai, it says it by 2 mitzvahs, right? It says it by 2 mitzvahs, and therefore, therefore you can't learn it out. It's exclusive to those 2 mitzvahs. Now the Gemara is saying, according to Reb Daisa, it's only by 1 mitzvah, because you are allowed to use the kohen gadol's begadim. So then that leaves us only with Trumas Hadeshin. That's also even after the mitzvah is done. And Mamela, we should learn out from it. So Gemara changes, it says, no, Mishum Davi Trumas Hadeshin, the Egla Rufa. The Trumas Hadeshin and Egla Rufa. Egla Rufa is when they kill the calf on the back of its neck when they find a dead body in between 2 cities. Right? So Shnei Ksum and Avoyin Ke'echad. Meaning you have to bury and what you have to do is that animal can't be taken. It's also bahana. You have to bury it right. You have to bury it right then and there. Even though l'chara the mitzvah is done. Once you killed it, you killed it. So it's shnei ksuvim b'agachad, v'chol shnei ksuvim b'agachad, ein melamdin. Fine. So Gemara says, well, honich l'madam ein melamdin. This all works if you hold that you don't learn out from it. Elamad domer melamdin. Ma'ikol meimar. So what are you going to say? Gemara answers trei miut iksivi. It says 2 miuts. Hacha ksiv harufa v'hasam ksiv v'samay. right? There it says arufa, and it says for some you put the ashes next to the mizbeach. So those are miyutim, meaning they're mashma that you exclude something else. Right? So memela, there's blood is out. Okay, now if you remember the Gemara, when the Gemara said Minani Mili, the Gemara gave 3 tirutzim that blood has no kedusha to it. So Gemara asked, "V'tlasa kroi bedam lamali." Why do you need 3 psukim? Right, meaning just say one pasuk, which I don't understand. I don't know. I don't understand this question. There's 3 different shitas, so each one has his own. Each one has his own. Right. So Gemara answers, "Lemamute me'ila minaisar umituma." It's coming to exclude it from mila, naisar, and tuma. Umituma, right? Our pigel loitzar akra, but pigel doesn't need a pasuk. Tetnan kol sheyesh matirin bein laadam el mizbeach hayavan alam mishum pigel. Anything that has matirin, either for people or for the mizbeach, you're chayav on them because of pigel. The dam gufei materu. And the blood itself is a matir. Fine. So that's mamela. That's why the dam doesn't need any sort of pasuk. Fine. Amar Rabbi Yochanan. So shloisha krisis b'shlamim lama. Why does a pasuk need to say chorus 3 times by somebody who eats, by somebody who's tameh, who eats the kachim? Rashi says with the psukim, "Emer aleim l'doresechem v'nefesh asher toicha basar nefesh kisiga b'chol tumas adam." So why do you need 3 psukim to say that somebody who's tamei, who eats a carbon, is chayiv koros? So we say achas leklal. One is for the rule, right? That anything that's hektish, that somebody who's tamei, is going to be chayiv. V'achas leprat, and one is for the prat. Right? That's towing for shlomim, right? Meaning something similar to shlomim. Here you get into how you darshan is klal or prat or klal, etc., etc. Rashi and Tosfos have a lot about this. All right, so the achas the prat is coming to say the dafka shlomim, meaning chorus is you're only going to get chorus for eating hektish, but only kachim that go onto the mizbeach. And one is coming to tell you that even things that don't get eaten, there's going to be a chorus if somebody tummy eats it. Right? Meaning if somebody decides to eat the wood or levina or the ketores, fine. And according to Reb Shimon, who says that things that are not eaten, you're not chai because of tuma. So lasuye mai. So then, what's the third chorus coming to tell us? Lasuye chatas apnimius. It's coming to include the chatas pnimius, the chatas that's brought in the inside mizbeach. Why? Sagadai dechamina. Because I would have thought hoyel v'amar Reb Shimon. Kol she'ein al mizbeach achitzon k'shlamim ein chayav v'nalav b'shum pigul. That anything that's not brought on the outside mizbeach. Right. That was Reb Shimon's shita throughout with pigul. That anything not brought on the outside mizbeach, you're not chayiv pigul. Mashum tuma nami le'lechayiv. So maybe you're also not chayiv if you're tamei. Kamash malon. So therefore, the pasuk tells us that you would be chayiv. All right. Okay. So that's why we need. The 3 psukim. Fine. Numi. This is. Oh, sorry. In the Mishnah, it just says Reb Shimon. It says Reb Shimon machayev eshadarche lechel. Right. So Rashi's girsa is the word numi. I don't know. I don't remember ever seeing that terminology used in a Mishnah. Numi Reb Shimon means Reb Shimon says And our Mishnah doesn't say the word numi, but Rashi in the Mishnah does bring it. So the Gemara here does bring it. So numi Reb Shimon basically means Reb Shimon said. So numi Reb Shimon
What is
Chayav
it like? What is like a signature? Like they have on the bottom of a document says Naum such and such and Naum so and so, something like that. You know,
Is that what it is?
I don't know. I thought it was strange. Also, I didn't know.
Yeah, did you see that Rashi where he gets his peers from like the Gainim?
What I mean, Rashi in the Mishnah, or Rashi?
Yeah. Rashi in the Mishnah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very interesting thing. Okay, anyway, so Numi Reb Shimon Chayav Shadakilachos. Reb Shimon says that you only chayiv for things that it's the derech to eat, right? But the levina and the ketores, you're not chayiv koros if you eat those when you're tummy. So what it says, Itmar Reb Yochanan Reish Lakish. Reb Yochanan Reish Lakish. I'm sorry, it's more. Itmar Reb Yochanan Reish Lakish. There's Reb Yochanan Reish Lakish. Reb Elazar, Reb Yosef, Reb Yehuda, and Reb Elazar, Reb Yosef, Yehuda. Chad mei hai zuzah v'chad mei hai zuzah. One from each pair. A zuz means a pair. So one from each pair, meaning one, either Reb Yochanan Reish Lakish or the other one Reb Elazar or Reb Yosef. Chad Omar. One said machlokes betumas.
Like the Mishnayos.
What?
It's like the Mishnayos. He has one blade of two different scissors.
Right. Yeah, I hear. I was thinking something like it's getting in this, because we start Ezu Makaiman, tomorrow's daf, and there's no machlokes, right? That's why we say it every day, or we're supposed to say it every day. So we're getting into machlokes here. That was it. But there's machlokes in the Gemara, there's just no machlokes in the Mishnayos. Anyway, so Chadam, machlokes by Tumas Basar. One says the machlokes is by Tumas Basar. Right, where the basar itself is tameh. Aval b'tumas haguf, but tuma from the guf, meaning if the person's tameh, divrei hakol ein aloika. Everybody holds is no malchus, right? Because tumas haguf, because the pasuk, whatever, they were arguing exactly what the psukim were saying. V'chad Omar, and one says k'machloikus bezu, kach machloikus bezu. The same way there's a machloikus by somebody who's tar who eats tameh basar. Same machlokes by somebody tameh who's eating something that's tar. My timer. What's the reason? Keeping the karina be va basar sheyiga b'chol tameh. Since it says va basar sheyiga b'chol tameh, karina be the tumasay alav and the tumas on it. Fine. Rav Tavyume masni hachi. That's the way Rav Tavyume learned it. Rav Kahana masni hachi. Rav Kahana had a different way of learning it. Chad mei hai zuzah v'chad mei hai zuzah. One from each pair. What?
We've had a Tanya before?
Yeah, we've had it. Yeah. I think. Chad mei hai zuzah v'chad mei hai zuzah. A seifa. It's going on the seifa. Chad Omar machlokes betumas haguf. That by Reb Shimon with the Reb Shimon's machlokes is going with the Chum is going with tumas haguf. Ava tumas basar. But if the issue here is that the basar is tameh and the one eating it is tar, hakol like everybody holds malchus. So he's just coming from the seifa, not from. It's the opposite of what the previous version was. Mistama makes sense to go with the machlokes that they're arguing in all cases. My timer. Since we can't say on it that there's a tuma on it and v'nichrasa, like karina be v'abasar sheyiga v'chol tamei lo yoichel. Since you can't say v'tumasei alav, right? Because he says there is no concern for tuma or somebody tamei eating any of the non-edibles. So mamela he's going to have to apply it all the way around. All right, so so that's why that's That's why you can't. You'd have to. Meaning it's all or nothing. And it really it's nothing. So the same way there's no tummy on the bus, there's no tummy on the person. Fine. Right? But Mar said that he said before about basar l'rabis eitzim levina that the word basar is coming to include eitzim and levina for somebody that's tummy. So Gemara says lapasa ba'alma. It's just coming to a psul, right? And meaning it doesn't mean that you're going to get malchus. Fine. Okay. Next Mishnah. Now, I think we're out of pigul now. Okay, let's do the Mishnah to the two dots. So Zok the Mishnah. L'shem shisha devarim hazevach nizbach. For 6 things, a carbon gets shechted. L'shem zevach. You do it for the, if you had a carbon oila, so it's an oila. Shlom is a shlom. L'shem zoiveach. For the name of the person who is bringing the carbon. Right? Meaning that you have to, if you have a Shina Bailim, then that's no good. Meaning I'm supposed to bring it for Ruvain and I ended up thinking that I'm bringing it for Shimon. L'shem Hashem, it has to be L'shem Hashem. L'shem Ishim, or for the fires. Yeah, L'shem Reach, L'shem Reach, for the good smell. L'shem Nichayach, or Nichayach means to please Hashem. V'achatas v'asham L'shem Chet, and the Chatas and the Asham is L'shem Chet. Some Rabbi Yaisi, Af mi shalai haya beliba L'shem Echad mikol elu, even somebody who didn't have in his mind to shecht for any of these things, meaning he was parav, let's call it that. He just shechted. Kosher, it's kosher. Why? Shehu Tanai Bezdin, because that's a Tanai Bezdin. She'eina machshava ha'leches ela acharav ha'ovid. The machshava only goes past the ovid. Right? Meaning we got into this before earlier in the Masechta, but it's just almost like there's a Chai Adam, when we said that, says if you don't have kavanah when you're reading Kriya Shema, then I'm being mekayim the mitzvah saseh of Shema, right, and whatever it is. So Chai Adam holds you're yaitze anyways.
Right, we had a Chai to help this out.
Huh?
Help
Yes,
us out,
that bails us all out.
Right.
Mishmur brings a Chai Adam. That's like you went to shul, you said Shema, then that's kavanah. So I'm not sure if that's what this Mishnah means. That's the way I understand this Mishnah. Right? So what basically
Rashi seems to be saying that it's on the person who's doing the avoida. It's going on the person who's doing the avoida. It's on any of these 6 things. These 6 things are effectual, but it's only on this person doing the avoida, not the Mr. Joe outside who brought the korban. Not on him. It's on the guy who shacks. The guy is Makabal Dam, Holach and Zrik. So even if the Avera, if it's on a Chatat or an Osham Chet, so the guy is shacking, he's got to have in mind that Avera. But he don't have to. I don't know if he has to have in mind. If I mean it's only
right,
on
so
it's only on him.
Right, but it's very interesting because from the Mishnah you wouldn't get this. From the way Rashi says it, Rashi says if it would be the last Rashi in the Mishnah says if it would be shaloi l'shmoi, right? Even though the Bailim say it's l'shmoi, it's nothing because it's not totally in them, right?
It's not totally in the Bailim.
Correct. So it's totally in the Ovid. Right. Meaning, so Mamela what? So if the Baal has das that it's going to be lishma. The kohen and the kohen has shaloi lishma. It's going to be shaloi lishma. That's the din. So memela, what they said is, you know what? We're just going to go with the don't have any machshavas and finished. Just do what you got to do, and it's going to go bust what Bezdin has. Fine. So I'm Rabbi Yehuda Rav. So Rabbi Yehuda says the name of Rav. Oila l'shem oila. When it says oila, it should be brought l'shem oila. Lafuke l'shem shlamim. The law it comes to exclude for the shlamim that he shouldn't. Ishim l'shem ishim. When it says that you have to bring a carbon for fire, right? So it should be l'shem ishim lafuke kibava deloy. It should be not. It comes to a school kabava that's not. Kabava means you have to totally obliterate the meat on the mizbeach. It should be totally burned. Not that it should just be slightly roasted. Reach l'shem reach. When it says reach, it should be l'shem reach lafuke evarim. It comes to exclude the evarim shetzalan v'helon, and you take the evarim that you roasted them v'helon, and you bring them up to the mizbeach deloy. Damar Yehuda Marav, evarim shetzalan v'helon, evarim that were roasted, and then he put it onto the mizbeach. Ein behem mishum reach nichayach. I'm sorry, ein behem mishum reach. It does not have a din of reach. Right? Fine. Nichayach l'shem hanochas ruach. Nichayach is because of to make it satisfying. Lashem, l'shem mi she'amar v'hoya olam. When it says Lashem, it means for the one who was and the world would, for Hashem, right? And the one who said and the world was existed. So Amar Yehuda Marav, chatas sheshachta l'shem oila psula. You have a chatas that was shechted l'shem oila, it's puzzle. L'shem chulin, kshera, it's kosher. Now, kosher for what? Kosher meaning it's a kosher, a carbon, but he still has to bring another carbon? Or is it kosher meaning it needs to be yaitz is chiv? I don't remember. I don't remember what the Rambam said now. I know it was the opposite of what I thought. That I remember. Just don't remember what I thought, and I don't remember what the Rambam said. Okay, Amar Rabbi Elazar, my time at the Rav. What does Rav say? This. Don't be machal things that are kodesh for bnei Yisrael. Kachim machal and kachim. Kachim can make other kachim chulin. Ve'ein chulin machal and kachim, but chulin cannot make kachim chulin. Meaning, stam things cannot make kachim chulin. Right? So that's what. Meaning shechting, you want to shecht one carbon instead of and have in mind a different carbon, that's one thing. But you have in mind chulin, that's not strong enough. A chulin will not come and say, "Oh, you only shechted Hashem chulin." That bounces the kedusha out of it. No, that's not that we're not going to say. All right. Okay, so the Gemara asks, "So Masav Rabba Amar Rav Yosi Af Mishalah Hayibaliboy L'Shem Echad Mikalelu." Even somebody who didn't have in his mind any of these things, kosher, it's kosher. Shu Tanai Bezdin, that's a Tanai Bezdin. Time Mishalah Hayibaliboy Klal. That's only because he didn't have anything in his heart. Hayibaliboy L'Shem Chulin, puzzle. Meaning the Mishnah is saying that if he was parav about it, but if he wasn't, but it's mashma, meaning that's why it's kosher. But if he actually had l'shem chulin, then maybe we puzzle. So Abaya said, "Dilma loy haya klal kosher." So Abaya said, "Dilma loy haya klal." If it was not by him at all, kosher, it's kosher, umeratza, and it's meratza. Ha haya beliba l'shem chulin, but if it was in his heart l'shem chulin, kosher, but ve'ena meratza, it's kosher, but it does not work for the owner. Fine. A few more lines. Amar Rabbi Elazar. Chatas sheshachted l'shem chulin ksheira. Chatas that shechted l'shem chulin is kosher. Mishum chulin psula. But if it's for chulin, then it is pasul. K'dibam minei Shmuel Rav Huna, like Shmuel asked from Rav Huna on Tamar Aleph minayin lemisasik b'kodshim shu pasul. How do you know that somebody who shechted kodshim, meaning he was a misasik? Misasik means he was he was shechting, he had no idea that he was shechting a korban, right? Or if he took the knife and he was, waving it around and it sliced an animal's neck. So how do you know it's possible? Shenemar v'shachat is ben abakar l'fnei Hashem, and you shechte ben abakar l'fnei Hashem, ad shetehei shchita l'shem ben bakar. The shchita has to be l'shem ben bakar. Amalei said, Zubi Yadenu la'akiv minayin. This is all Zubi Yadenu. We knew that, he's saying, but la'akiv minayin, how do you know that it's ma'akiv? And that if then it's meaning we know that it's puzzle, but how do you know that kavana's mamish ma'akiv? Right? So Amalei l'ritzoinchem tizbachu, it has to be according to your ratzon. L'daitchem zvichu, do it according to your das. Right, so therefore you have to have mamish kavana when you're shechting for kachim, and if you don't have kavana, then you can't bring the korban.
But you see that if somebody shefts l'shem chulin, it doesn't passel it. It's not ma'akiv it.
What do you mean?
The previous case.
Isn't that what Shmuel's arguing?
No,
But
I mean,
it
but
is.
at the end, no, Shmuel's not arguing. He's saying that we didn't know that it was being ma'akiv. He's masking at the end of the day to Rav Huna that it is being ma'akiv. He didn't. He said Rashi explains that he thought it was just for a mitzvah that you're mitzvah to go ahead and not be misasek in the wrong thing. But he said, are we actually being ma'akiv that it apostles it? Because that's what Rav Elazar said. Rav Elazar said that it would be ma'akiv if it's mishum chulin. He said, yeah, and economy. That's what Rav Huna is saying. Rav Huna says at the end of the day, we dash with this pasuk that will die tcham tivichu, and if you don't have das for it to be a korban, it apostles it. So then, why would lechulin, if you shech the lechulin instead of lekachim, wouldn't that pass also? I guess over there you knew it was kachim, you just decided to shech the lechulin anyways.
One second, what are you saying?
In the previous case where you had in mind for it to be lechulin, we don't pass it. It's only when you think it's chulin.
You thought it was chulin, so
No,
Mela.
first case, I guess you didn't think it was chulin.
Let's let the island. We'll finish the daf. So let's dismiss the island at least. All right, we'll stop over here. Let's say a tefillim and then.